It's like Christmas Day for Mark Ogden. Every year he gets the opportunity to announce his Premier League best 11, and always everyone is in agreement. Here it is in all of its glory. Alisson, Trent, Virgil, Van Dijk, Laporte, Robertson make up the back four. Kante, Bruno and De Bruyne in midfield, and then it's Mane, Vardy and Christian Pulisic completes the 11. Mark, looking at the comments from lovely social media, it is that final American edition that seems to have caused most of the furore.
It's not just that, Dan. It's not just Pulisic. There's quite a few, but let's do with Pulisic in the first instance. You know, I could have picked Mo Salah. I could have picked Raheem Sterling. But you know, both those players had a great season. I don't think they performed beyond what people expected. I think, you know, if you look at it, they probably performed below expectations. I think with Pulisic, he came in, and I saw it at the start of the season, first month or so. It looked like a fish out of water. It looked like he wasn't strong enough, wasn't quick enough. But he's really worked at it, and he's come good. And that, you know, you look at his stats now. He's scored more. He's got the same amount of goals in his first season as Eden Hazard did at Chelsea, and he was crucial in certainly the post restart to Chelsea getting the Champions League. So, yes, you know, he had strong competition there, but I think the progress he's made towards the end of the season has been spectacular. So I think Pulisic deserves a place.
Has he convinced you, Craig? Would Pulisic have been in your 11?
Well, we should change the target at the bottom, just under our chins now. Augie should be Premier League beyond expectations team of this season, surely. Because, you know, let's just take the Pulisic one. Raheem Sterling, you know, had 29 goals in all comps. Aubameyang was 27, playing off the left-hand side in all comps. Marcus Rashford could probably get in there and probably should be in there before. Another Man United hater, Daniel, Augie is, because, you know, no Rashford anywhere on the front line. 22 goals for him, probably playing most of the time off the left-hand side. And that's just that position.
Yep, that is just that position.
Never mind the fact, we go to the other end.
Yes.
He's got Aymeric, Laporte in.
Yes.
He spent most of the season in bandages.
But who else would you pick?
He only played 18 games, Augie.
But in those 18, if you had to pick two centre-halves from the last Premier League season, you'd pick Van Dijk, I imagine. Who else would you pick?
But
he let his team down at Bournemouth.
Maguire.
He let his team down big time. But for that,
Maguire. You nailed the beyond expectations. You said beyond expectations. When they sold, when they sold Harry Maguire, they were up the creek without a paddle because they didn't go out and buy a centre-half, well, an expensive one. So that is a classic case of performing beyond expectations. Yeah, he got the suspension at the end, but
he let his team down by getting sent off at Bournemouth. That killed him.
So
Rabbits does it regular, but nobody gives him pelters, except me.
Okay. I think the thing with Laporte, I agree that he's been injured this season, but when he plays, he's crucial at City. When he doesn't play, they say that some players are better when they don't play. Laporte's had the best season of his career by not playing for City at times this season because they've missed him so much.
Hold on a minute. Can we rename this team of the season to, after the pandemic stopped and started, the over expectation team of the season? He was a lot better this year than last year. Team of the season. Listen, as far as Laporte's concerned, he missed half the season, and when he did, listen, Harry Maguire came in and solidified Manchester United's defence, no question. When Laporte's come in, hasn't he made any difference? He hasn't made the guy next to him better. Maguire's made Lindelof better. Sonshaw's come in and made Evans better. Never mind the pair of them together. As far as Laporte, but can I go back? Can I go back though to Pulisic?
Yeah.
How can you possibly have Pulisic ahead of Aubameyang, Sterling, in particular?
It was very. Aubameyang was very close.
Up until the restart, it was a toss of a coin whether he was in the starting 11, and you can't argue that. So, again, if this is team of the season, not teaming of the last 10 games of the season. Oh, by the way, can I pick another one?
It was Kante.
How can you have Kante? How can you have Kante?
Well,
he's another one that's missed a lot of games. And by the way, Jordan Henderson just won the sports writers, of which you are one of the main voters in it, and he's not even in it.
But I didn't vote for him. It wasn't my vote. I voted for Trent Alexander-Arnold, so he's in my team. So we talk about now Kante. So every time I saw Kante, he impressed me. He didn't play every game, but when I see him, I think he's the best defensive midfielder. It was either him or Fabinho, and I think Fabinho's had a great season. But you take Fabinho at the Liverpool team, they can cover his absence. When Kante's not playing for Chelsea, I don't think they have a replacement. So look, I could have, if I picked the best 11 players, it would have been a pretty boring team. It would have been, the best 11. I think it's the 11 players that have exceeded expectations, that have done really well, that have impressed me at times, that the team has missed when they've not been playing. And I know I'm rewriting the rules a little bit to justify my selection, but that's how it is.
Well, the problem with that theory is, Mark, is that the one person who would just tick all of the boxes you just mentioned is in that 11. That's Danny Ings.
Yeah, but you can't pick him ahead of Jamie Vardy, who's the top scorer in the Premier League.
But you just said,
a great season.
where are we setting the bar? Because surely Danny Ings has, excelled all expectations. If it wasn't for him, Southampton would be in deep, deep trouble.
Well, so is Jamie Vardy. He's 33 and he's top scorer in the Premier League for a team that hadn't been anywhere near the top 4 or 5 since they won the league in 2016. So,
but what's the biggest surprise, Jamie Vardy's numbers or Danny Ings?
I think Jamie Vardy, because he's 33.
Oh, Mark. Oh, shush.
Come on.
By the way, so it's now been renamed again.
I played him on the bench.
When Ogden saw you play, you impressed me. When I didn't see you play, I wasn't given the stuff. And by the way, Stevie, what are you chirping on about Harry Maguire? Good grief. He's not.
Listen, Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire, up until he made a huge mistake against Tottenham with Bergwijn's goal, followed by, of course, De Gea making a mess of that as well. And the last couple of games of the season hasn't been particularly great.
And the Bournemouth game.
Since he walked through that door, he's had an absolutely huge impact on United defensively. No question.
Look, I mean, you mentioned the Tottenham mistake. There's the one against Bournemouth as well, when him and De Gea, made a mess of it. And the Southampton game at home, it's the 97th minute. You're 1-0 up in a game that you really need to win. You're the centre half, you're the captain, the corner comes in. Surely the one thing you do when a corner comes in the 97th minute when you're 1-0 up is head the ball away. And he didn't, or 2-1 away. It was like, that is your job.
Team of the season, if you make a mistake against Bournemouth at the end of the year, you've done brilliant for 8 months of the season, and in the last 2 weeks, you make some mistakes. So that's it, scrapped, you're out the door.
It doesn't communicate very. Listen. I think he's the best defender that United have got, but that doesn't say a lot. I think he's the best of a bad bunch. But listen, he's a better defender than most. But I think he needs a centre half with pace alongside him to make him the player he should be for £80 million.
Any other business, Craig or Stevie? Should we move on?
Well, no, I do think the Kante one was a bit strange, but not that I don't think he's a great player. He is, but he like Laporte, he didn't get the game time that Chelsea would have hoped. Certainly Henderson for me, but it's all about opinions. But there's no doubt Mark's definitely gone down the pandering to the American audience with the Pulisic. There's no doubt. Honestly,
I didn't know Mark was
he's
like
been
that.
brilliant. Don't get me wrong.
That was one of his biggest
fits and starts. He's a brilliant player, but you can't discriminate against age and stuff like that. Just because Aubameyang's in his 30s now, I mean, that's a heck of a return, as it was for Sterling. But
yeah, fantastic return for Aubameyang. I can't disagree with that. It was very close. But listen, I've been one of Pulisic's biggest critics. I saw him in Istanbul when he played it. And when he played against Liverpool in the Super Cup, I thought it was awful. I thought it was terrible. But he's come on such a long way since then. So I think you have to give the guy credit for his perseverance and the way that he's actually, proved a lot of people wrong, including me.
So he wins the most improved award of the season then.
Probably, yeah. I can't think of it. Well, there's a few.
That's next week's.
Anthony Martial. If there was one, Anthony Martial would be another one.
Yeah, he's a week early.
Okay, let's move on, shall we? Just
that they're even giving out awards for. Sorry, Dan. They're even giving out award now for the Premier League give out the Golden Boot, the Golden Glove, which are fair enough. Kevin De Bruyne was given the Playmaker of the Year award. It's like because he had the most assists. I mean, what next? Tackles, clearances, headers. I mean, Steve, you're a defender. Why don't defenders get awards? What is it with the Playmaker of the Year? Is that just a contrived award just to give somebody?
Mark, you've just spent the last 10 minutes telling us about this terrible awards that you've given people because they're most improved, or you saw them once and they weren't that good. So I think, really, you're in no position to talk about...
It's just an excuse to give Kevin De Bruyne an award.
Yeah, by the way, we
it diminishes Kevin De Bruyne.
We talked about that, Oggy,
I think you should take this out.
It diminishes Kevin De Bruyne.
Ridiculous stuff
Yeah,
with stats and stuff, but... Yeah, listen, don't feel bad about this because Marcotti used to get hit with this big sledgehammer on a regular basis. So you've just taken over that mantle. Don't take it personally.
I was sent a tweet today. I sent a tweet today, somebody decrying selecting Bruno Fernandes in his team because his expected assists weren't very high. Expected assists.
Hey.
What's that mean?
Craig wins the comments from social media over the last 24 hours. Trust me, as I've seen to have turned into
Well, I'm not
PA
on social
Twitter.
media now.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know that. I'm taking
They're
a
all sending them
sabbatical
to
and I
me.
don't give a stuff about the comments. What can't speak, can't lie. United had 66 points last season and 66 again this season.
Here we go.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.